This video, I believe, is the saddest yet most important video I've done to date out of almost 900 videos on this channel. Whilst it's much different than my usual videos, and I've chosen a podcast format with no video clips, I feel compelled to speak on this subject as a warning to all Filipinas who are searching to be in a relationship with a foreign man. If this video can just help one Filipina from making a huge mistake, then indeed it's all worthwhile. I urge all Filipinas to watch this video and for everyone to share this with any of your family and friends who may be searching for a foreign man to spend her life with. Now, I want to stress right here that I'm not trying to talk Filipinas out of finding a decent man to share her life with, because there are many good guys out there. But also there are some that are plainly vicious and cruel that all Filipinas should avoid at all costs. Right here, I'm going to show you some true stories where a Filipina has gone to a foreign country to commence her life with a man where sadly it's ended in tragedy. My warning to all Filipinas is to look for any red flags before going overseas to live with any man, and don't be so blinded by the opportunity for a better life at your own expense. Later in this video, I'll give you some signs or red flags to look out for when online or when he visits you in person, as well as what to do if you find yourself in a dangerous relationship in his country. I was shocked but not surprised in recent days when I heard of a man here in Australia who killed his Filipino wife. But you must know and realise that this happens more than we may think, and what a Filipina needs to understand here is that there are some men from all over the world who will seek a Filipina to be his wife because he thinks he's able to control her every move and that she'll do everything that he commands. And if the Filipina falls short of his very high and unrealistic expectations, then he'll become verbally abusive, and over time this can turn into physical and mental abuse to the point his rage snaps in a devastating way. You must know that this case I referred to recently in Australia isn't unique for this country, and sadly it's happened several times. And when I do an internet search, I can find many such cases around the world. So let me share just a few of these stories that have had a very sad ending for Filipinas. So hopefully this will hit home just how careful you need to be when looking for a foreign man to share your life with. So this was a story here in Australia just very recently. This particular story was published on the 28th of July 2021. It says, York Peninsula mother dies after suffering injuries in alleged domestic assault. And this is the Filipina wife we're talking about here. It says the South Australian mother allegedly bashed by her husband in their York Peninsula home has died in hospital. Their Port Hughes home is now a crime scene, with neighbours reporting hearing a woman screaming and yelling at all hours of the night. According to the couple's daughter, past attacks have included multiple punches to the stomach and strike to the head with some sort of kitchen object. Now, this man's defence, which to me is pretty pathetic, the lawyer has said that they're a happily married couple claiming his wife was drunk and attacked him where she fell and hit the back of her head on the floor. So this man will be remaining in custody until December when the hearing proceeds. And it's a very sad case, but Filipinas, you all need to be aware really such a tragedy, and it makes me ashamed to be part of this country when I hear stories like this. And a simple Google search has found this page here where it outlines similar stories in the US. In Alabama, Thomas Robert Lane was charged with the murder of his estranged Filipino wife, Teresa Lane. Teresa's body was discovered in the bathtub filled with running water. Authorities found evidence that Lane drowned his wife by pinning her under the water with his foot. A forensic physician determined that Teresa was also subjected to blunt force trauma. During the couple's separation, Lane had been trying to arrange to marry yet another woman from the Philippines. Another story here in California. Marilyn Carroll married Stephen Carroll in the Philippines in 1988. 1 year later, he travelled to Thailand to marry another woman before marrying his second wife. Carroll assured her that it was legal in California to have two wives. The bigamous marriage ended when Marilyn called the police to report that Carroll had sexually assaulted her, restraining her with thumb cuffs and other devices during the attack. Carol was charged with bigamy and false imprisonment. So, another lesson here for the Filipinas is to learn about the country you're going to and their laws. This guy has told her a lot of nonsense about being allowed to have two wives, etc. And the Filipina just believed him. She didn't know. Then in Hawaii, the mutilated body of a young Filipino woman, Helen Mendoza Krug, was found in a garbage dumpster behind her high-rise apartment building. The murder was committed in front of her 2-year-old son by the husband, Robert Krug, whom she met through an IMB. Krug was sentenced to life in prison. And look, there's plenty of other stories here. I'm not going to go into them all. They're not all about Filipinas, but there's quite a few others in there about Filipinas who have gone to America as well, where it's ended in tragedy. Now, as I say, my goal here is not to scare Filipinas off from finding a good foreigner to share your life with. But just like foreign guys need to understand what a genuine and non-genuine Filipina is, you need to understand what signs or red flags to look out for that may be an indication of what he's capable of or what may be yet to come. And it all starts from the very first conversation that you have with him online around paying attention and being observant in what he says and how he says it. Typically, over time of chatting, you'll pick up on certain words he may use, like, "I'm looking for a woman to serve me," or "to be obedient or submissive." Now let me clarify here that yes, in the Bible we do see scriptures talking about how a woman should be submissive and obedient to her husband. But these guys take it to mean that he is in complete control of you in every way. These guys are very forceful in the way they speak. You can be sure they'll speak down to you and not treat you as an equal. And you may even hear them say that they're the prize in the relationship, or tell you that you're just lucky to be with him. You may notice that he wants you to account for every minute of your day, and in fact, he may get rather angry if you're even a few minutes late for a chat session or meeting. In his mind, you should never keep him waiting for anything, and if you do, then his anger will be noticeable. My advice here is if you're in a relationship with a man like this, then you can be sure that he's controlling and he should be avoided at all costs. Remember, you're better off being by yourself than with a man like this who could really hurt you in many ways. But what if you miss or ignore the signs and you find yourself with such a man in his own country? What are you to do? I've heard of these men who will place his wife on a curfew to the point she can't even leave the house without him. He may even take her passport because he knows she can't leave the country without it, and effectively, he'll control everything you do, and you will be his slave in every way. And very sadly, I've even heard stories of such men who sell their Filipina to other men for pleasure, and she has no way to fight this. So what a Filipina needs to do is to research the country that she's thinking of going to, and what sort of help may be available there, just in case she finds herself in this position. I know in Australia there are many community services that will provide emergency accommodation for abused women and their children, and there are protections by law that can be put into place. However, in some Muslim countries, the laws are heavily in favour of the man, and effectively there's very little that you can do. So my best advice here is not to go to such a country under any circumstances. Another thing that you can do is, as soon as you arrive in a Western country, then look for a Filipino community group in your area. This is good at the start because he isn't as likely to be so controlling straight away. So this may allow you to make a friend or two and to get advice from people who have been in that country for some years on how to handle such a situation and where you can go for help. Always find a person that you can trust in that country so you can share a particular word or phrase with that will indicate to them that you need help. A word or words, such as red balloons for example, can actually be a lifesaver literally. Often these type of controlling guys will listen to every conversation that you may have in order to keep control of you. So if you've organised a help word or words such as red balloons with a trusted friend, he'll be none the wiser when you're asking for help. You could say something like, I love those red balloons you bought for John the other day. To the husband, this will sound rather meaningless, and he won't be alerted to the fact that you've just asked your friend to contact the police. Rest assured, right here, this could literally save your life. Also, you can set a chat or FaceTime schedule with your family members back home and give those family members the name and contact details of your trusted friend, and also the phone number of the local police station with the international and area code included. So if you're more than 30 minutes late for those chat sessions, they can alert the friend or authorities if the friend is not contactable. But with this one, you need to make sure that you keep your family updated if you're going to be late for any reason, because you don't want to be alerting the authorities to a problem that may not exist at that time. Now, I know that some of these measures may sound rather extreme, but they are necessary for your own protection when you go to a foreign country with a man you may think you know, but could turn into some sort of monster over time. I also want to say that I'm available for any Filipina, either via email, messenger or video call, who may have any concerns whatsoever about her partner at no cost to you. So I urge you, if you have worries and are not sure, then to reach out to me and I'm more than happy to help. Until next time, thanks for watching, stay safe, take care, and I'll see you in the next video.